Our interview this morning is with Virgil Eugene Brown. Virgil was born in Dell, Missouri, January the 28th of 1920. He served in the United States Army during World War II. He served from November of 1941 until June of 1945. His highest rank attained was PFC, Private First Class. This interview is conducted at Burleson, Texas on Friday, October the 29th, year 2010. My name is Dale Dexheimer. I'm not related to Mr. Brown in any way. Also in the room we have Milton Gibson and Gary Burton, who are our videographers. This interview is conducted for the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress and also for Operation Remember, City of Burleson, Texas. And with that introduction, Virgil, you can tell us about your time in the U.S. military, what you did, when you went in, why you went in, things you saw.
Mm-hmm.
It's all your story, sir.
Well, I came out of the CCs. Before I went into the service, there were no jobs that was found in 1941 that they would even hire me. They'd say, well, because we can't hire you, we'd get you trained, and the Army would draft you, so that they wouldn't even hire me. So I went to the CCs to find a job and money to survive on. And the first 3 months that I was in the service, I drawed $21 a month. And all of that money was pretty well spent before you got it. They had canteens that you could go buy, and cigarettes, whatever you needed to survive with, toothbrushes and paste and what have you. But I was drafted on the age that I was prime suspect to be drafted. And I went to St. Louis in '41 in November and was drafted in the service, and they sent me to Abilene, Texas for my training. There was about 500,000 boys down there in one little town. And the county was dry. No drinking could be found except another county, I think it was Abilene or Sweetwater. And we stayed there till training till February of 1942. And we went to Fort Devens, Massachusetts. We went from the dust and dry country to frozen ground in Fort Worth, Massachusetts. We stayed there for a few months, I don't remember. And we went to New Jersey to be taken overseas on the Queen Elizabeth to go to the service in Africa. But that fell apart, and we ended up staying in New Jersey longer than we were supposed to, because Queen Elizabeth got on fire and burnt, and we had to wait for another transportation. And we ended up going overseas in, I want to say September '42. We went over there and got on a cow boat in Ireland. And we stayed out there in the channel for I don't know how long it was, really. I don't remember whether. Oh, we went to Ireland and on the. I went to Free State in Ireland, where they had all kinds of nationality, German, Italian, what have you. And it was pretty, more or less, don't drink everything that you could find that had, some of it had poison in it. We had to more or less weed out what you could drink, you know, the cap on it wasn't broken. A lot of the boys got poisoned and had to be pumped out. I don't know how long we stayed there in Ireland, but then we went from, I guess, Ireland to England. And we got hooked up with the 8th Air Force, and we were one of the outfits or organizations that had the best doctors and nurses that the country had. We took care of the 8th Air Force for, you remember how long? Probably a year, I don't know. But anyhow, during the time we went to Scotland, and then I can't remember when we left Scotland, went to Wales. But we went to Wales on 44, 43, I guess. And from there we went, they opened up the channel and took us to Germany, no, France. At Normandy Beach, and we stayed several weeks just on the edge of France. I don't know whether you guys ever heard of it or not, but we couldn't move. We were stuck. And they finally found out that they flew a string of fortresses, bombers, to open up the way to get back into France, to get a halt. And we finally struggled through France and went to Belgium. And from Belgium, we had a permanent hospital that we took away from the Germans and operated out of that till we were able to move. And we finally moved up what was that town in Germany was that? I don't know, I can't remember. But we was there for several months, and that's when we got into Germany, the capital of Germany, and that's when we met up with the Russians. And when we met up with the Russians, and it was no time the war was over. So that's about the way I ended up.
Let me go back and ask you some questions here, questions I have. You worked in the CCs, Civilian Conservation Corps?
Did I?
Well, is that what the CC stands for?
No.
Civilian Conservation Corps? You built roads, dams?
No.
No?
We're a hospital organization.
Okay. You made $21 a month, and it was already
When I
spent.
first went in, yes.
Yes, sir. And it was already spent. Cigarettes was one of the items you mentioned. Were you a smoker?
Yes.
Everybody smoked.
Well, I can't say most percentage, yes.
Grew up in Missouri, and you mentioned when you went to training in Texas, the first county you were in was dry, but you could go to the county next door.
Well, we had
Wet.
some kind of a transportation that I can't never remember that. It wasn't a taxi, but it was kind of a group of a car, you know, that take 4 or 5 of us for $1 a piece. And Sweetwater was a wet county. And there you could go over there and drink beer and whiskey. But Abilene, no, I think it
Was dry.
was dry.
Potter County, but that's
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
But there wasn't no
I forget
use.
which one it is.
We didn't go to town to no extent because there were so many soldiers, and the town was about 1,000 population, and it was useless to go to town. And there was no beer or anything, no movies that I knew of, I didn't seem to find any.
You've mentioned specifically that you went to Sweetwater, you could get beer or you could get a drink in Sweetwater. When you went to Ireland, you talked about the whiskey that was there. Your daddy didn't run a still up there in Missouri, did he?
If he did, I didn't know it.
Oh, okay. It is possible, though.
There was some close to us.
There was probably a little shine in
Moonshine,
up there
yeah.
in Missouri.
Yeah.
Kind of that clear liquid. You hold it up and it was just
Well,
like
yeah,
water.
what you call white lightning.
Yes, sir. You know about those things.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just took a little sniff once in a while.
No, I couldn't afford it.
No. Oh,
No.
okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I couldn't afford that. I did drink some home brew.
Something your daddy made or your granddad made.
Some of his relatives.
Yeah. Okay. Going down my questions here. You were single when you went in the service?
Yes.
Did you get married while you were in the service?
Yes.
When did you get married?
When? 1944.
1944. You met your wife in
England.
England. She's
I
an
married
English
her.
girl?
Huh?
She's an English girl?
Yes.
Or Welsh or
English.
English? Okay.
I forget where she's lived, but
When you were in Texas, you didn't go to town because there
no.
weren't many folks there. But when you got to England, you could go to town because you found you a
Oh,
wife.
I went to town when I went to Fort Devens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what'd you find when you went up there to Massachusetts where it was cold? What'd you find in town up there?
Cold women.
Okay. You've talked about all these places that you went. What was your job? Excuse me. What was your job in the Army?
I was a KP all through the service. That's a kitchen police.
Okay.
Wash pots and pans and serve meals for the boys.
So you were with a service unit like a
Well, we had our cooks and KPs, and everybody was assigned a certain like medical, you know, they were like some wards. You know, each one of them had a certain like amputations, and you know, and others had like neural disease, and I'm not sure what all.
You worked for a hospital unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
They was,
And you did KP
yeah. They had about
for the hospital unit?
350 total of us
Okay.
in the group, and each, some of them helped operations, some just done, bed work, cleaning up, and we had nurses with us. There was, I want to say, 35 or 40 of them, but we couldn't mess with them. They were private stuff for the officers, and don't mess with me.
Yes, sir.
If we caught you, you got, well, they call it punishment, and we weren't allowed to talk to them or take them out, or we had to wait till the movie stars come over. We could go with them.
We back up. We back up and go to your training. When you went to Texas, you went to basic training, right?
That's what?
You went to basic training in Texas?
Yeah.
Taught you how to march,
Yeah.
turn left, turn right,
Yeah.
how to make your bed,
Yeah.
how to get up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, they woke you up if you didn't get up.
Okay.
They'd try to find you if you didn't.
So then after you get your basic, you learn how to march. They give you a gun.
No, we were not like guns.
You didn't have guns?
No.
Okay. But you learned how to march in Texas.
Yeah.
When you went to Fort Devens up there in Massachusetts, was that where did you get some hospital training up there?
Yes.
Or corpsman, not corpsman, you were a medic.
Yeah.
You got some of that training at Fort Devens?
I didn't.
Okay.
I told them that medicine didn't, I was more or less something that I smelled made me sick. And they never did put me in the hospital. They never did get me in the
They teach
hospital.
you how to wash pots and pans up there in Massachusetts?
Yeah, when I was in the brig, it would, yeah. Yeah, they caught me, they gave me 2 24-hour passes to go to Fort Devens, back to Warsaw, Missouri. And as far as I could go on transportation, we took a train. And there was no transportation from St. Louis to Warsaw. I had to hitchhike. And 24 hours, 2 24-hour passes, one of them 24-hour passes took me for a day to go from St. Louis to Warsaw hitchhiking. And we stayed 2 days overtime. And our commander said, well, this has been going on. He said, we're going to make a sample of you 3 guys, and we're going to put you in the brig for 16 days and give you labor. So they signed me AWOL. That's away without leave. And that went on my record. And that made me a bad boy the rest of my life, in the service. And I was caught some more times, and they kind of warned me that, you can be put in front of a firing squad and time of war. And I said, well, yeah. And we had a first sergeant who missed a boat. And he told me them words, and I said, yeah. I said, do you remember the time that you was AWL didn't get the boat? No, we won't talk about that. I said, no, we won't. That's you. But I was caught a lot of times for AWL, so I can tell you more, but I won't.
Okay, you go to Fort Devens, you go down to New Jersey. You were going to go to Africa, but
Yeah.
you never went.
That was a saying.
Right.
But the boat sunk, and it changed our plans, according to my knowledge. But I can tell you another story. everywhere I went and was there, they always told me I wasn't supposed to be there. So I never did know what the hell was the right story or the wrong story, which I didn't care.
Sometimes the Army's that way, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. In
But you
Oxford,
ended up in Ireland,
yeah.
hooked up with the 8th Air Force.
When we left Ireland, went to England.
Okay. When you were in England, well, obviously you met your wife,
Yeah.
but I guess you were with the 8th Air Force. Were you at an air base in England?
Well, there were air bases all around us,
Okay.
and they had British air bases and American air bases, and I don't know, they had fighters and bombers and what all else, I don't know.
Did you live in a barracks or did you live in a tent?
We lived in the barracks,
In a barracks?
yeah.
And your job there was pretty much KP
All the time.
all the time. How was the food in the Army?
How was the food? Great. Had no complaint. We had rations a lot, but you know, that was in times when we couldn't cook, or, you know, wasn't on the move, and
Did you gain weight when you were in the Army?
no,
No?
they worked me too hard.
Okay. You went to France and you went to Omaha Beach. Omaha is...
No.
No? Okay.
No, I went from England to Scotland, and Scotland to Wales,
Okay.
and then Wales to France.
Okay. When you got to France, you went ashore at Omaha Beach?
Yes.
How many days after D-Day?
I think it's 14 days, was it? 14 days?
About 2 weeks after D-Day?
Yeah.
So you could still see all of the signs of the battle.
Oh yeah, they're still in water. There's still some of them they hadn't cleaned up yet.
Tanks, trucks.
Well, they had the weapon carrier, or the where them drop down you run out of, you know, get on the beach.
Higgins boats.
What?
Higgins boats.
Yeah. Open
Kind
the
of
front.
a square. And
Yeah.
the front flop
Yeah,
down. Yes, sir.
yeah. And we still had to be cautious going up the hill of Omaha, not to get off the beaten path.
Mines. Were you
Mines,
worried about mines?
yeah.
All the Germans were pretty much cleaned up, though.
Like I say, they was close to us, but they couldn't move and we couldn't move. We didn't have the equipment to move, and they had us tied down. And until they had done that bombing, they just ripped the whole country apart so far, so wide, and where we could move. Then we got out of there but we stayed in foxholes there for a month or two. I don't remember.
When they got you to France, you're in a hospital unit. But when you got to France and you were in the war zone, did you have a gun?
No.
Never had a gun.
Medical people never have guns.
Okay.
They weren't
But
allowed.
you did get to dig a foxhole.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How deep was your foxhole?
Probably 2 feet,
And how long did you spend in that foxhole?
about 2 months.
2 months. Foxhole right next door with one of your buddies?
We were close together, yeah.
Okay.
Close, you know, nobody walked close together or as groups or in any openings. You were in area where, where they couldn't kill a bunch of it at one time. We were segregated, where if they bombed you, you didn't kill everybody at one time.
Did you meet any French people?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think about them?
They all tried to help us. Yeah. Yeah, they were, where we were at, it was an orchard. And there were French people close, and they were all nice and friendly and, tried to help us out.
They have wine?
Did they? They had better than wine. They had cognac.
They did?
Yeah.
That was pretty good?
It'd sure get you down, I'm telling you that for sure. I thought it'd take a lot to me, and I didn't. About a little bottle so big would get you down.
Was it better than that shine you had back in Missouri?
Well, we were kind of a drinking bunch, and a lot of times they'd take just regular alcohol and mix it with that lemon crystal, and it'd get you drunk too. And if you throw it out on the concrete, it'd take the paint off the concrete. You wonder why you drink that stuff, but you would.
Okay, so the French had good cognac.
It was good enough to get you drunk if you want to get drunk, yeah.
You have some cheese?
Yeah, we found cheese with that here.
Fresh eggs?
Not too many. Not very often.
You were in an orchard. You have apples or pears
Yeah,
or whatever?
Yeah.
Did you get to Paris?
Several times.
Several times. What did you think about that? Did you go up in the Eiffel Tower?
I've been under that a few times, yeah.
What did you think about Paris?
Very nice. Very nice, yeah.
Have you been back since the war?
No, I haven't.
No?
You mean to Paris?
Yes, sir.
Not Paris, no.
Paris, France, not Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't. I've been back overseas several times, but not.
My wife goes to Paris, France. I go to Paris, Texas.
On account of my wife. I married her in England. She's an English bride.
Okay. You go into Germany.
Do what now?
You went into Germany.
Yeah, from France. From Belgium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Belgium, you were there for the Battle of the Bulge?
Yes.
What do you remember about the Battle of the Bulge?
Well, it was pretty scary, really. We almost got captured. It finally ended up that they got it broken up, and we got the best of them.
What was the weather like for the Battle of the Bulge?
Cold. Snowy, cold.
Did you have foul weather gear? Did you have boots and extra socks? Whatever?
No, we didn't have nothing extra. We just had our head, ordinary shoes and clothes. And, of course, I don't know, I was issued several clothes several times. One time, I can't recall, but you ever hear pregnated clothing? It was fixed to where gas, one thing or another, would protect your skin. We issued that. And then summertime, we get summer clothes. Wintertime, we get winter clothes.
But it was cold for the Battle of the Bulge.
Yes.
Snow?
Do what?
Snow? Did you have snow?
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of snow?
Well, sometimes you couldn't move with a car. Snow got so deep you'd have to get down and crawl.
All of this time that you're in a combat zone, they don't give you a gun, but
That was a regulations.
okay.
That
Did
was-
you have a helmet?
Oh yeah.
You had a helmet. Okay.
Hmm. That caused me a lot of problems.
You lose it?
No, I didn't like to wear it. My commander didn't like me because I didn't wear it.
Why didn't you want to wear that steel pot?
It was too damn inconvenient, heavy, and
Didn't think about somebody maybe shooting you in the head?
well, you had to think about somebody getting you, but you didn't worry about it. When I went into France when it wasn't even freed, but it didn't worry me. And I didn't go in there for trouble. I went in there for a good time, and whatever it took, what I like, I done. But my commander didn't like me on that reason. He flatly told me, he said, Brown, I just come out and asked him. I said, like with PFC, and I said, what if I go get one of them things? And he said, well, you're not. He said, just where you're standing there with no helmet, britched legs rolled up. He said, I give up on you. And I said, thank you, mister.
You had a good time when you were in
I had my best time of my life.
You bet. You went into Berlin.
Yeah,
You met up with the Russians.
yeah.
What do you think about them?
Well, it was a lot of sad stuff, really. I mean, you ever hear of the concentration camps?
Yes, sir.
We freed some of them. We fed them, and they looked horrible. And it hurt my whole heart. But
When you freed those people in the concentration camps, you couldn't feed them like steak and potatoes the first day, could you? So what did you start them out on?
I really couldn't tell you. I wasn't involved in that. And
But you did see the people that were in the
yeah,
camps.
I did. Yeah. And I also had a brother he went through the whole war, prisoner of war. And I've heard his stories, so they'd like to starve him.
Let me come back. You met the Russians. Did you see any Russians yourself?
Oh yeah, I saw all nationalities. I've seen them.
Were the Russians good troops?
I don't know that much about them.
Okay. They have vodka?
Well, I don't know what they had, really.
Oh, okay.
I heard stories on them, but what they were true or not, I heard they eat each other. But whether that was true or not, I couldn't tell you. They said they used to take the flank off a man's butt and eat it. But whether that's true or not, I didn't have the knowledge of knowing, but heard it. So I know they had a worse time we had, and I wouldn't be surprised they didn't.
After you met the Russians and after you were in Germany, you came back to the States. Come back on a boat?
No. I flew back on Fortress.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. A B-17?
Mm-hmm.
Had you ever been on an airplane before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were with the 8th Air Force, so I guess. Yeah.
Well, when we were in France at one time, they moved so fast that they flew us across the Rhine on an airplane. And they were, at one time, I don't know just when or why, but from a certain part of France, after they got past Paris, they really shot a big lot of ground in no time across the Rhine River. And to get there to help them out, we had to fly. And there was, according to my knowledge, that transportation was pretty scarce on account of the river. And there's no bridge across the river, and that held them back. And they flew us to get there sooner.
In a C-47, maybe? You remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was.
Okay, but you came back to the States in a B-17.
Well, I
Flying
call them fortresses. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you fly all the way back, or did you stop somewhere?
We stopped at some islands to ford up, or to gas up.
Okay.
But I don't remember that either, what one was. And I didn't care.
Was it cold in that airplane?
No.
No?
It was in June.
It was in June. Okay. Noisy?
What?
Noisy? Was it
No.
No?
No, not really. No.
shake, rattle?
Not really,
No?
not bad.
It was a good ride because you
I
were
was
coming.
shooting craps in the part of the. It didn't make the die to rattle either.
Okay, you get back here and you were separated from the service. Where were you? Where did they discharge you?
Back to St. Louis again.
St. Louis?
Yeah.
Said, here you go. You can go back to Dell, Missouri. And
No.
No?
Hell, Dell, Missouri's been wiped out for hell ever since I was a kid.
Okay. So what did you do when you got out of the service?
I went back to Kansas City, from Warsaw to Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri?
Yeah,
Kansas.
Missouri.
Mo.
Missouri.
Okay. And what did you do there?
Well, I went to what was the name of that? I helped build some airplanes, you know. It's a company, but I can't remember what it was. But it was see, the war wasn't over when I got out.
Okay.
They were still fighting in
Japan or the Pacific?
Japanese. And I went to work in an air factory there in Kansas City. They were, I can't remember what the name was, but I helped bore heads for the cylinders at the plant. I worked there for, let's see, went to work there in June, I guess, and worked on, when was the Japanese,
August, the war was over.
Oh, in August?
Yes, sir.
Well, as soon as the war was over, they closed it down. I want to say I worked there a couple of months, maybe. Yeah.
Virgil, we appreciate you coming by and telling us your story, sir.
Well,
Appreciate the time you spent in the service defending us. It's good to meet you, sir.
I didn't tell you a whole lot of what I'd done, but
But you had a good time.
yes, I did.